Good morning, I'm James Staniforth. I'm the principal of Shrewsbury Colleges Group. I'm delighted to have this opportunity to talk to you, Year 11s at Bridgnorth Endowed. Clearly this is a very strange set of circumstances. In normal years I'd have been in the school talking to you as I was at this time last year. But we're all having to think and work in slightly different ways. So I hope that this virtual sort of assembly presentation will be helpful for you in giving you information about the college and helping you plan for your future. Year 11 is a really important time. You've got that focus on getting the best GCSEs that you can, and you're also thinking about next steps. So you're thinking about what you're going to study post 16 and where you're going to go and study. I've always known this is really important, but my own daughter is in year 11 this year, and so I can see it sort of as a parent as well. So I don't think it's ever been more important than you get really good information so that you can make an informed choice so that you can be as successful as the students that you'll see in this presentation who were sat where you were 3 and 4 ago. So in terms of the options that you've got post 16, there's really 3 pathways for you to think about. And I'm sure you're aware of this, but you've got an A-level route, which is about going to university or to professional employment. There's a vocational route, which is also about university, but it will take you into a job or into an apprenticeship. And then there's a technical route, which is about a job or an apprenticeship. So A-levels, these are 2-year courses. You get to pick a range of subjects. You'll be assessed with exams at the end of the 2 years. The vocational course, you'll often hear these courses called extended diplomas or BTECs. These are worth 3 A-levels. You study a single subject, you study the subject for 3 years, and at the for 2 years, and at the end of those 2 years, you'll have built up marks towards your final grade because it's about continuous assessment. And then finally, there is a technical route. And this is about getting a license to practice to work in a particular sector. So might be that you want to train to be a chef or a hairdresser, a beautician, a motor vehicle technician, a plumber, an electrician. And you study, you gain qualifications, which will take you into being able to work in that particular field. And I'll say a little bit more about those choices in a moment. I also want to sort of stress why it's a really important decision. And I think you know that there's value in education for its own right, learning new things, new ideas, skills, concepts, getting to use equipment and developing your expertise in using that, whether that's music technology and mixing equipment, or whether it's using lathes, or whether it's learning beauty treatments. So all of those things are really exciting part of post-16 education. Education is also about giving you greater choice in your life and about giving you greater chances in your life. We live in a really great county, but the average salary in Shropshire is significantly below the national average. If you get 5 good GCSEs or better, and I'm sure that you will because you're in a really good school, you close that gap, but you still will earn below the national average. Once you get your qualifications at 18, so once you get your A-levels or you get your vocational qualification or your technical qualification, that's the first point where you start to earn more than the national average. And the other important thing is it's getting those qualifications at 18 that allow you to go on to university or a higher apprenticeship to gain the equivalent of a degree. And the benefit of getting a degree to your lifetime earnings is about £1 million across the time that you work. So you can see that making the right choice now at 16 is really critically important to give you the very best opportunities in life. So why do I think you should think about Shrewsbury Colleges Group as part of the decisions that you're making? Well, every year about 40% of students in year 11 at Bridgnorth Endowed choose to come onto the college, and they do really well when they join us, and I'll share some stories with you in a moment. But I put there, I think, some of the key reasons why it's useful to consider our offer alongside other schools and colleges. The first thing is there are 3 routes, and you can do all of those 3 routes at the college: the academic, the vocational, the technical, leading into the apprenticeship route. We offer all of those in Shrewsbury. We have 3 campuses, 2 in the town centre, English and Welsh Bridge, where students study A-levels, the art vocational courses, and one campus at London Road, which is about a mile outside of the town centre, where we teach the vocational and the technical professional courses. We also work with about 250 employers to provide apprenticeship opportunities, and I'll say a bit more about apprenticeships in a moment. We're specialists in 16 to 18 education. We're not also teaching Key Stage 3 and Key Stage 4, which means our teachers are not balancing lots of different board requirements and assessment requirements. So our A-level teachers are marking A-level exam papers, so they get an insight into what you need to do to excel. In some cases, they're setting exam papers and even writing the textbooks, which are used across the country to support students. So they've got real insight and expertise in preparing students for A-levels. If you're interested in a vocational area, our teachers are not just sort of theoretical experts, they've got real practical experience as well. So if I think of health and social care, one of the team there keeps up a professional registration as a midwife, which means she has to do a certain number of days a year in the hospital. Now that's a really critical part of her keeping up to date with the requirements for the health and social care profession, so that she can feed that back into students who are studying on the course. Art and design, all of our art and design teachers continue to produce their own work, and in fact have exhibitions across the country and across Europe last year before lockdown. And if you're looking at the technical routes, we just employed a new motor vehicle teacher who was leading training for Jaguar Land Rover. So you've got people who are working absolutely at the cutting edge of industry, and they're sharing their skills and knowledge with you when you're working with us. We've got the widest choice of courses in this part of the world, so across Shropshire, Telford and Wrekin, north, the south, over into Wales. You won't find a larger choice of A-levels and vocational courses. There's only one area that we don't offer, and that's land-based courses, and there are other good specialist providers sort of outside of the county north if you're interested in land-based. Courses, which I'll come to in a moment, and students do really well with us when they're at the college. Sometimes think that when students make that transition to college, they're concerned about moving to a much bigger environment, and we do have a lot of 16 to 18 students, but we also have 3 campuses. And so at any given time on any of the campuses, there probably won't be any more students than there are in your school across all 5 years. So I think that you will feel that transition is perhaps easier than you might initially imagine. But to make sure that students make an effective transition, all students have a personal tutor. And that personal tutor has 3 really critical roles to play in the time that you're with us. The first thing is that they are just your go-to person for anything that you're concerned about. Whether you want to know about where you get the bus from, or you want to join an enrichment course, you want to change one of your A-levels, your personal tutor is your first port of call, and they will sort it for you, or they will take you to the person that will sort it. The second thing they do is they work with you as your academic mentor. So you will sit down with them every 6 or 7 weeks to discuss your progress, reflect on the feedback from your teachers, and put in place a plan for the next 6 or 7 weeks, which focuses on what do you need to do to make sure you keep achieving at a high level, or what do you need to do to improve to the next level. And the final thing that your personal tutor is there to do is to work with you on the next steps. So they'll work with you on your university application, they'll work with you on applying for a job or an apprenticeship, because they've got that focus on helping you move to the next stage of your life. And the personal tutors are also really well connected with our student support team, and the student support team provide the range of wraparound services which ensure that our students are going to be successful. And that includes things like the additional learning support that we offer, support for things like dyslexia, dyspraxia, as well as very specific needs that individual students might have. It includes supporting students with bursaries so that they can pay fees around the kit that you need for beauty therapy. For example, we support students with transport, and I'll come to that in a moment. They're the team that make sure that students are aware of volunteering opportunities, work experience opportunities, and arranging those placements so that you can make the most of your time in college by getting real experience of the workplace, which will help you when you make job applications or university applications. So we provide a lot of wraparound support to make sure that students will do well whilst they're with us. And in terms of enrichment, this is something which I think is a real benefit of being in a 16 to 18 community with a lot of students, because there will always be people who share your interests, whether that's dance, drama, music, Duke of Edinburgh, National Citizenship Service, subject societies, competitions that we encourage students to enter, support for Oxford and Cambridge applications, medics and vets. And whether it's recreational sport or the 14 sports teams that we run who compete on a Wednesday afternoon in things like mixed hockey, women's hockey, men's and women's rugby, men's and women's football, volleyball, basketball, real broad range of opportunities to take part in team sports. So there's this really thriving community which exists outside of the subjects that you study. I mentioned transport then, and obviously if you're in Bridgnorth, one of the things that you're thinking about is how would I get from Bridgnorth through to Shrewsbury. So we run a bus ourselves, which goes from Bridgnorth through to the college, and Arriva also run a bus service from Bridgnorth to Shrewsbury. As I mentioned earlier, we provide support with the costs of transport. Now, one of the things that I think is a shame at the moment is that obviously we're a bit limited in the way in which we can invite students into college to get a feel for what we're about. We had an open evening last night for our A-level provision. We've got another one next week if you missed it, but it's a virtual open evening. We are able to organise a small amount of opportunities for people to come onto campus, and if you are able to do that, that's great, because one of the things that I think you get from being in college is you get that sense of what we're about. And the focus of the college is about putting students at the heart of what we do. It's what we call being student-centred. And what that means is that we're focused on each individual student and each individual student's journey, rather than looking at ways in which we can restrict you. What I mean by this is that we've got the most permissive entry requirements to study A-levels in the county, so you need 5 grade 4s or above, including English language. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't get the very best grades that you can in school, because you'll have more opportunities at college and also in the future with the grades that you get. But we believe we've got the teaching and the support to help students be successful regardless of their starting point. And we work really hard to get you on the right course to make sure that you'll be happy, you'll be successful, and you can move on to the next stage. We need to do this because we have students every year that join us with all grade 9s, and we have students with our minimum entry requirements and everything in between. And therefore it's so important that what we do is work with students to make sure they maximise their potential. They get better grades by working with us than they would have done elsewhere. In some ways, it's more helpful to hear from other people that have been to the college. And Chloe was a student at Bridgnorth Endowed. She originally joined us to study A-levels. She studied those, realised that product design was a subject that she really liked, and then she applied for an apprenticeship with Rico. Now, these are incredibly competitive apprenticeships, because you are getting a job working for an international company who pay you a salary whilst they continue to train you. And Chloe got onto their engineering apprenticeship. She was then part of a team that the college and Rico entered into the national skills competition. Her team won. She won a gold medal for that, and she should have been in the team that would have competed in the World Games in China. Unfortunately, they've been postponed because of the current pandemic. So I think a really fantastic example of the way in which students can excel from Bridgnorth, bits of Shropshire, get opportunities to fantastic jobs, fantastic life experiences through the success they've had at school in Bridgnorth and through moving on to the college. Okay, so I'm now just going to say a little bit more in detail about the options that are available. I've shared with you those different routes. So here's our A-level courses. As I say, it's the widest choice in this part of the world. Notice that there are courses that you can do which build on what you've been studying at the moment, so maths, English, biology, chemistry, for example. But there's a lot of new A-levels that are available that you've not had a chance to study in school, whether that's classical civilizations or economics, electronics, geology, psychology, sociology, law. So do look carefully at the range of courses. The other thing that I would say is that we have the ability to offer all of these subjects in any combination. So you won't find us turning around and saying, oh, I'm sorry, we can't quite fit those into the timetable. We have sufficient classes that we're able to adapt and manage each individual student's needs. When will A-levels suit you? They'll suit you, I think, if you are wanting to keep your options open and study 3 or 4 different subjects. They'll suit you if you know exactly what you want to do when you leave college. So if you know you want to do history at university, you like to pick, I don't know, history, English and politics. You'll be picking chemistry and biology and maths, for example. They'll suit you if you're good at exams, and lots of students are, or if you like exams, maybe that's slightly fewer. But one of the important points here is that these are 2-year courses and you do the exams at the end of those 2 years. There are small amounts of coursework. That's in some subjects, that's all. Alternatively, you could do one of our vocational courses. These are often called extended diplomas. As I say, BTEC is one of the names that you'll hear referred to. These are 2-year courses. But the difference here is that you will work steadily over 2 years. You will do pieces of work. You will get those marks. You'll get feedback. You'll build up marks towards your overall grade, which you'll get at the end of the course. So you don't have exams in the same way that you might have some tests as part of the course. You're not dependent on exams at the end of 2 years. So it will suit you if that's a way in which you prefer to learn, prefer to be assessed. It will also suit you if you prefer to learn by doing, by being involved in more practical activities, by learning perhaps as part of a group, solving a problem. And it will suit you if you know that there's a particular area that you want to go into, so art, for example, or construction or engineering. Or it may suit you if you want to keep your options open, so study an area like at university following that course. Particular route that will work. And what I mean is this: you can go to university and study engineering, having done maths and physics at A level plus another subject, or through doing the BTEC extended diploma in engineering. Last year, we sent 6 students to Harper Adams University in Newport, fantastic university, brilliant engineering department. 3 had done A-levels, 3 did a vocational course. Each year we send students to university to do midwifery. Some will do the BTEC extended diploma in health and social care, some will do A-levels. So there are different routes through to the same destination, so you really can choose the right route based on your skills and approach to learning. And then the technical and professional courses, again, you pick one course, you'll study for it for a year. At the end of the year, you'll get a qualification. You'll then go on and study for a second year in college, or you'll go into an apprenticeship, and that second year will be partly learning in the workplace and day release to come back to college. You'll typically work 4 days a week, study 1 day a week in college. At the end of that second year, you'll either do a second year of the apprenticeship, or you'll then finish your 2 years in college, and at that point you'll pick up an apprenticeship. So it's a route which typically is about gaining qualifications which say that you can work in that sector. So you're a qualified bricklayer, you're a qualified electrician, you're a qualified hairdresser, but you will study it 1-2 years in college, or 1 year in college and then further years through an apprenticeship and learning whilst you earn. These courses are very much about practical skills. So even if you do brilliantly at GCSE and get all grade 9s, you will start at the lowest level in plumbing, because of course getting a 9 in geography doesn't mean that you've got the skills to bend pipes and you understand the way in which you've got to fit them, and you've got the manual dexterity to be successful on the course. And there's just one course that I've shared with you this morning which could lead you to earn £50,000 a year by the age of 18 or 19, and it's on this slide, and it's brickwork. And this is because we have a shortage of bricklayers in Shropshire, we have a shortage across the West Midlands, and we have a shortage nationally. So that's the range of technical and professional courses. I've mentioned apprenticeships. Here you earn while you learn, so you get a job, you come into college to study a day a week. At the end of the apprenticeship, when you've got the skills, you will do what's called an endpoint assessment, which is, it's a test. It's not an exam. So if you're doing the professional chef apprenticeship, you do a 5-hour assessment whereby you come up with a menu, you source the ingredients, you cook the meal, you answer verbal questions about it. I've mentioned there about English and maths because if you don't get 4s or above in English and language and maths in school, whatever you do, you have to carry on doing those post 16, and that includes an apprenticeship. Now, if you have to do that at college, we're really good at this, but really you have so many more opportunities if you get those qualifications in school. So do everything you can, work with your school, they're really brilliant at supporting you to get those quals. And then finally, I've put on there are 131 apprenticeships within a 15-mile radius of Bridgnorth. You can see this if you go to find an apprenticeship on gov.uk. In fact, just type find an apprenticeship into Google. I had a look over the weekend in preparation for doing this today, and yeah, 131 opportunities at the moment. Okay, so the final thing, just to share with you some success stories. These are our students from last year. Our A-level students, we had 103 who got 3 A's or better. We had 141 students who got the highest grade in a vocational course. That's Distinction Star, Distinction Star, Distinction Star. It's worth 3 A stars at A-level. So really fantastic results. But some of the students who sat where you were, Matilda, she's now gone to Birmingham City University to do fashion business and promotion. She got A star BC in her A-levels. Her targets were to get a B and 2 C's. So she did well at school, but she's overachieved against that at college. Eleanor, she did 2 A-levels and a BTEC single A-level course, which you do at our English and Welsh Bridge campuses. She's gone to Chester to their really great primary education course, having got better grades than her targets. Hugh, he's got triple star distinction, the highest grade you can get in BTEC, and he's gone to do electronic engineering at the University of York, fantastic university, Russell Group University, really good engineering course. And Emily, she's at Sheffield Hallam University doing business and management with law, having got triple star distinction in BTEC business. So students who've gone down different routes, A-levels, vocational courses, but in this instance, all ended up at university. So really fantastic destinations for people who have come from your school and through the college. So what next? Have a look at our prospectus. You can see this online. Copies will be in your school this week. Compare what we offer, the courses, the stories about the students, look at the entry requirements, look at our alumni stories and the success, so you can see where you could go next, and compare that with the other options that you're looking at. And then finally, we've got live streamed events. We've got open evenings. We did one last night for our A-level provision. We've got another next week where you get an opportunity to find out a bit more about the individual courses. There's virtual tours, so you click on a link of biology, go and have a look what the labs look like, find out about the course, get an overview of A-levels as well as the individual subjects, an overview of the art courses as well as the individual subjects. The 5th of November is for our technical, professional, vocational courses, so things like health and social care, travel and tourism, motor vehicle, hair, beauty at our London Road campus. Again, it's virtual. You'll be able to see the facilities, you'll be able to hear from staff and students talking in the videos. And then we're running virtual subject tasters, 21st of November for A-level and vocational art, and 24th of November for vocational courses. Those are in the evenings at the end of the day, and there's a number that come up on each day of the week. You can book online for all of those at scg.ac.uk. That's scg.ac.uk. So I hope you found this useful. Thank you for listening to me. As I say, it's such a shame that I'm not with you, but I'm sure you're going to have a fantastic year. I'm sure you're going to be really successful, and I look forward to working with a number of you from September 2021. Thank you.